Sarah Easdale reporting. Now, a few weeks ago on Country Focus, we were looking at the mixed fortunes of the ospreys at Glaslyn and Llynbrennig. But at the Dyfi Osprey project near Machynlleth, where 2 fat chicks are growing steadily, things are going well, with an added extra of a rare visitor to the nature reserve. Janine Pannett is from the Mongomeryshire Wildlife Trust.
The rare sighting it's an owl species, so obviously we're better known for our osprey on the reserve here, but the owl is actually a long-eared owl, which is quite a rare recorded species in Wales, and that can be for a number of reasons. They are quite elusive, and they're also our most nocturnal owl species, so they're very rarely seen hunting in daylight. So it may be just that they're under-recorded, but it's very, very exciting to see them.
And you not only managed to spot the owl, but you actually managed to get a photograph of it, I understand.
Yes, well, the very good thing for us is where they've chosen to breed is not far from our 360 observation tower. So this is one of our main buildings on the reserve that visitors come to see and are in every day. So one day last week, these young owls just sort of appeared in one of the trees about 20 metres away, so within full, very clear view of our visitors, which they didn't seem to be fazed by at all, which gave obviously wonderful opportunities for seeing them and photographing them.
Well, where do you think they've come from?
It's very hard to say. As I say, these birds perhaps do breed in Wales and are just under-recorded. They're much more commonly associated with conifer woodlands and more dense habitat. So the sort of more open reed beds and boggy areas that we have here, it was perhaps just more a bit of a surprise to see them. It may well be, of course, that the reserve was closed last year, like a number of places, of course, because of COVID, and perhaps they took advantage of the quiet and actually started breeding here last year and just went unnoticed.
How many are there, do you think?
Well, they've definitely been breeding. So what the owls that we've seen are not adult birds, they're actually juveniles. So these are chicks that have only just come out of the nest. And what owls tend to do, we use the term fledging for a lot of birds, but for owls it tends to be branching. So before they're even really capable of any sort of distinctive flight, they just sort of walk their way out of a nest and sort of hop from branch to branch. So what we were seeing was 3 juveniles, undoubtedly all from the same clutch, so they would have been siblings, probably at just various days sort of age.
And what do you expect will happen to them? Will they stay or will they move on?
Again, it's something new for us to learn about. It's very likely, like other owl species, they will stay around the nest area. The adults would have chosen this area because they obviously felt it was safe, and they obviously felt there was a good supply of food, which for these owls is small mammals and small birds. So obviously we've had an abundance of bank voles, wood mice, things like that. So that would be ideal for them. So as long as there is a ready food source, they will stay as close to that as they can. It's likely that they will spread out and sort of explore the area. As the food source changes, so it may be in the winter, if the food is harder to find, they will search slightly bigger areas. But it's very exciting to know that the adult pair, obviously, presumably, will stay around now and continue to breed here in the future, which is very, very exciting for us personally, for the reserve and the Dyfi area, Wales as a whole, really. We want to see more and more of these types of birds.
And, of course, you also have the ospreys there. They're doing well this year.
They are doing really well, and they're generally good neighbours for the owls, although we did see some interaction very early in the season. One of the adult long-eared owls actually sort of flew into one of our ospreys on the perch overnight when they were roosting. Now, this may be, of course, whether they see the ospreys as a potential threat, but obviously they're not. They are only fish-eating birds, and perhaps they've come to sort of tolerate one another as neighbours. the ospreys have got 2 chicks themselves that are between 3 and 4 weeks old now. So they're at a really interesting stage as their development. They are growing very, very quickly. We hope to ring the chicks in the next sort of week to 10 days, so towards the end of this month. That's when we'll be able to find out what gender they are and fit them with identity leg rings as well, so that if they are ever seen again in the future, we'll know who they are.
Janine Pannett at a very busy Dyfi Osprey project. That's Twit Twoo for this week from me, Caroline Evans, and the Country Focus team. Thank you for listening and stay safe.